Hi, it's Keontae coming to you loud, live, and in color just to talk about my experience of being a teacher. I love the days that I was in the classroom and I get to connect with students on a more personal level. That's one of my most favorite, memorable moments. Building relationships is the foundation for success in education, in my personal opinion. When we facilitate lessons through our practices, we become better practitioners because teaching is an art and a practice. If I had something to tell my younger self in my teaching days, I would say that establish a work-life balance and you never know what's going to happen next. So teaching, again, is something that we have to practice on becoming better at in the practice of actually teaching, in the art of what it may look like. It's not going to look the same for everybody, and that we must be inclusive of all our students, no matter who they are, where they come from, and what they believe in. I am an educator by choice, not by chance. And thank you for all the teachers who have facilitated learning for all their students and submitted videos for our pre-service teachers that I get to work with. Again, have a wonderful, blessed day, and I hope to hear more from other educators across the world. Bye-bye.
Hi, my name is Demikia Taylor. I've been teaching for 10 years now. It's kind of hard to believe. Um, but first of all, I want to say congratulations to all of you for picking such a wonderful field. I think we all, as teachers, especially ag teachers, take it for granted sometimes. We have our ups and downs, which everyone does. Um, but some days are better than others. But I will say, overall, this is a great field to be in. You have the opportunity to mold and build students' minds, create an environment where they're able to learn a lot of the things that you're interested in. And agriculture is just one of those fields where um, a lot of students don't know much about. They have this, you know, original thought of, okay, it's just about farming, but we're able to expose them to so many opportunities and information. So keep your heads up, stay in it because our students need us and they need to see our excitement. Even if we're having a rough day, they are looking to us for guidance and for our experience. Um, so keep it up. You guys got it and be great.
So the question is, why have I stuck with it? And my answer is pretty simple. Why not? I have been teaching now. By the end of this year, I will be considered halfway through. So I'm over 14 years teaching. I've seen the highs, I've seen the middle, I've seen the lows. And I'll go ahead and tell you, it's not just because COVID has happened. There's going to be times in your future that you're going to ask the question, why did I get into this field? Why am I still here? But here's the real question at the end of the day. What else do I want to do? There's a 7-year itch. There's even one somewhere between years 3 and 5. And heck, you get somewhere between 11 and 15, you're going to have another serious conversation with yourself. Is it really all worth doing? And you have to be real with yourself and ask that question. Every time that I've ever had that, especially through all this stuff with COVID, I always ask myself, well, what else do you want to go do? I honestly can't answer that question. And that's why I'm still here. Agricultural education is a passion. We all have a story. We all have a background of why we chose this profession. Probably 90% of you that are watching this video, it was because of an ag teacher. Just think if that ag teacher would have given up before they met you. It's worthwhile. There is still fun. There are still students out there to make a difference, to take on trips, to take into a greenhouse and produce beautiful plants, get them outside of the classroom. It's truly worth staying in this profession because it's not a profession to get into for the money. It's a profession to get into for the difference you can make in the life of a young person, the change you get to make on the world through the next generation.
Hi y'all, I'm Abigail Thompson and I teach at Northern High School in Durham. One of my favorite things about teaching, I've been teaching about 5 years now, is the relationships you build with students. You get to watch them grow from scared freshmen to scared seniors. As freshmen, they're scared of the new experiences and just being in high school. And then as seniors, they're scared of the real world they're about to enter. As a teacher, you can prepare them for the real world, give them confidence, and boost their self-esteem. There will be weeks when you're just like, I can't do it anymore. How am I going to make it through it? You push through that week, and then the next week it's like a fog has been lifted, and you're like, this is why I'm here. When your students come to you as a sense of security and comfort, that's what being a teacher is for me. Just again, those relationships and being that advocate for your students. If I could tell my younger self something, or as a first teacher, I remember someone told me that by your 5th year, you finally get the hang of it. And I was like, there's no way. I got to get it before 5 years. But this is my 5th year teaching, and I finally feel that I have found my rhythm, and things just fall into place. You learn how to grade, you learn how to teach, you learn how to get notes and give notes. So if you can hang in there for 5 years, I promise, once you hit your 5 years, you're like, yeah, I can do this. I am a great teacher.
Hello everyone, my name is Paul Young. I am the horticulture teacher here at Cape Fear High School in Fayetteville, North Carolina. And, teaching is a little bit rough right now because we're dealing with a new breed of kids. Like, these kids, they have not been in school. Our freshmen have not been in school since 7th grade. And they think 9th grade is like 7th grade still. And it's, sometimes it get really, really difficult dealing with younger children that haven't been in school in 2 years because of a pandemic. But you have to keep yourself focused. You have to keep moving forward. You also have to remember the why to why you became or you went to school to be an agriculture educator. My reason was to inform our new youth or our populations that are coming that their food does not come from a grocery store. That was one reason. But in FFA, you have these competitive events, and I compete in most of your plant science events, intro to hort, floriculture, agronomy, nursery landscaping. All of those gives me a reason or a purpose, so to speak, to continue to stay in the classroom. Because when you meet a student, when you have a student, you meet that student where they are, and you build them and help them until they get to where they are successful. That keeps me moving and keeps me motivated to stay in the classroom through these difficult times. One thing that I would tell myself as a young teacher is do not worry about getting employee or teacher of the year or employee of the month, because your employee and teacher of the year and teacher of the month and all the other stuff should be when you see your students succeed. When you see your students walk across the stage at state convention, that should be your teacher of the year. So you guys have chose a great profession, and I hope all goes well with your potential and your future journeys.
Hello, I am Brianna Holness, a agriculture teacher at Northern High School in Durham, North Carolina. I love teaching because I get to expose students to the various careers in agriculture and bring awareness to the agriculture industry as a whole. I do understand that when I am teaching my students, my passion will then transfer to my students, and I'm able to build long-lasting relationships with those students. What I would tell my younger self is no 2 days are alike as in agriculture. However, you must show students that you are passionate about the realm of agriculture, and then that will help them soon be able to determine their purpose in the world. And some days are harder than others. Like I said, no 2 days are alike in agriculture, but you have to continue to persevere and push through. And one thing that I learned as an educator is relationships are highly important when teaching students. Students don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. So your passion will then transfer to those students as you begin to teach them that content and that knowledge, because they know you then only care about them, but you also care about the agriculture industry. And lastly, you cannot reach them all. So if you know that you are able to reach 1 or 2 students, but your whole class is aware of the agriculture industry, then you should feel like you were able to check off one box. Like I said, you can't reach them all. I know we all want to reach all the students in our classes, but if we know that we reach the ones that we need to reach, then we have done our job for that day. Like I said, I wish you much success and the best in an agriculture industry.
Hey guys, my name's Brooke Francher. I graduated last year and now I'm teaching at Western Harnett High School, piloting their animal science program. I'm sorry I look and sound like this. I have gotten super sick over the past week. I think it's probably from traveling and the cold change. But one thing that I really do love about teaching is making connections with the students. Sometimes this is really hard to do, especially post-COVID, because half of them honestly do not care about being in school and think they can glide by. Y'all probably honestly get part of this when you're student teaching, and I'm sorry to say it, but it sucks. But they're the kids, and I mean, there's always going to happen. There's going to be the kids who don't care about learning and don't care about being in school. But don't let that ruin your teaching experience. Focus on those kids who want to be there, who want to learn, who are having fun, who want to join FFA, who you think have potential. One of my favorite things this past semester is I have a girl in my 4th period class. She's the quietest, sweetest girl, and she went out of her way to start helping one of my special needs students in class. And it's things like that that make me want to keep teaching, seeing students be advocates for other students. I've also seen students become advocates for agriculture, so they're learning more about this animal science industry and telling others about what's happening. Something fun that we get to do in our classes too is we get to be a little bit unconventional. So I color a lot, to be honest, because a lot of these kids don't get to do stuff like that in their other classes. They love coming in and seeing play on the desk, seeing crayons on the desk, getting to color, cut scissors out. We've been using chalk outside, but teaching, it really varies day to day, but don't let people affect how your student teaching outcome goes. One piece of advice I would give you is use that planning time and use that extra time in the beginning of your student teaching to get your stuff together. And that's going with like your classwork that you have to do. I know it seems like a lot. But if you can knock out all those assignments in one day during one of your planning periods, because you're only going to teach one class for those first few weeks, use that extra time to plan for the future and do the classwork you need to do, so then you're not working out of contract hours. Try your hardest to not work outside of contract hours.